One cleanses himself from these things, he will be a vessel of honor, sanctified, useful to the master, prepared for every good work. 22nd verse, this is where I want to hang my hat. Now flee youthful lusts and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace. Check this out, this is crucial. With those who call on the name of the Lord from a pure heart. Make sure that if you're going to pursue the Lord, you got to pursue it with people who are doing the exact same things you are doing. They want righteousness, faith, love, and peace. And make sure that those people are calling on the Lord from a pure heart. The number one Googled word in the world is sex. One of the largest organizational structures or businesses in the world is the pornographic industry. I want to be broad in my approach to this topic. I'm trying to impact every single that I can. I thank God for you being here today. But I also want to deal with masturbation and pornography for married people also. Please recognize we're all sexual people. You can't get away from that. Even the teens need this word. Don't be shocked at what I'm talking about. They know more than you think they know. Take it from me as a former middle and high school teacher. I understand the conversations that are going on at school. It's better for me to shock them than you to be shocked to find out your daughter's being passed around by the football team. It's better for me to shock you and them than you find out that your son has girls pregnant throughout the neighborhood. When we have a problem with anything, one of the first things we ought to do is check the manufacturer's instructions. So let's see what God says. God lets us know that he created sexuality because that's the way we procreate. He designed us to be able to populate the world, and he also designed sex for pleasure in marriages. Sexuality is a part of who we are. There are people in retirement homes that's still getting it on. People are living longer. They're exercising, they're taking their vitamins. You think you put grandma in the retirement home to knit sweaters, she's dropping it like it's hot. Yeah, if you check the geriatric census, you would find out that there are plenty of sexually transmitted diseases in retirement homes. Yeah. Grandma's getting more than you. All over the place, of every age, of every race, every nationality, people are having sex. They're being introduced to pornography and having sexual conversations at very early age. The truth is, our teens will fuss, cuss, and fight if somebody calls them a virgin. Wow. They would rather have everyone think that they're having sex because they don't want anybody to know that they're trying to save themselves, which is the right thing to do. That's why I have my son in here. I got to have him in here because he's a handsome young man. He's a very smart young man. And I know that there's some cute little girl that's going to try to put her boobs on him. Don't act like I ain't saying something right. They're going to be hugging all over him. You so cute. You so adorable. And when his flesh get to rising, he got to know something from his daddy. Say amen right through there. Can all the brothers say amen? Amen. All right. Back me up, fellas. Back me up. The problem is that the world that we live in has an ungodly perspective on sex. 6 out of 10 say that living and having sex with someone that they're not married to is perfectly fine. The idea of marriage is no longer important. We forget that it's really what God ordained. What do you mean that she ain't the one for you, brother? What do you mean, sister, that he ain't good enough for you? How can they be good enough to have sex with, but not good enough to marry? They're good enough to share diseases with, but not good enough to marry. They're good enough to go half on a baby. Don't act like you made every sexual partner you had take a blood test. You don't know what they had or what they could have given you. It's nothing but the grace of God that we haven't already preached your funeral. Let me clear something up real fast. Don't cry another day that some dude you slept with dumped you. He's a sinner, and that's what sinners are supposed to do. Don't be mad that you went half on a baby with a dummy. And he won't do nothing for you. That's what sinners do. He's a sinner. Don't get mad at any more girls that cause you drama, that slash your tires, that show up at your job, that's driving you crazy. Don't be mad that you went half on a baby with a slick chick. And now she's getting half your check and you complaining. That's what slick chicks do. They work the system. She's a sinner and she's good at it. So don't lie to yourself. You know she wasn't saved. You know he wasn't saved. Why in the world would you commit a sinful act and expect a Christian harvest? That was worth the price of admission right there. There is no way you can sow sinful seeds and expect a godly harvest. Say amen right through there. So while my subject today is stop having sex with yourself, that indeed is a means to get your attention, but just as important to my main point, I also have to deal with something that's just as important. I got to deal with a hidden issue that's causing destruction in our sexuality. I want to quickly address the world of fantasy. The world of fantasy. There are so many people that have a thwarted sense of sexuality, a thwarted perspective on what sex is, and when your perception is off, it manifests itself in numerous ways. We fantasize and it causes a hope or an expectation that's unrealistic, and it cannot be sustained. If you were introduced to sex in an improper way, which is anything outside of marriage, then you may deal with unrealistic fascinations. Now, let me define clearly my parameters before I go any further, because I want us all on the same page. So let me give you what I'm talking about. When I speak of fantasy, I'm not just talking about the dream world that takes your breath away. I'm also speaking of the unhealthy fixation of illusions that taint our minds. Everyone's ideas concerning sex aren't healthy. So your premarital experiences has left a stain that can be traced to its incident origin. It's just like when you've had a bad relationship, even though the person that you were with did you wrong, the new person pays the penalty. And so even though they're doing absolutely everything they can to show you they love you, you got your guard up, and eventually you wear them down from loving you, and they move on, and in your mind you say, see, I knew you were just like the rest of them. It's your thwarted sense of sexuality that the enemy's playing with. If your sexual encounters were violent, it left you feeling degraded. Now your fantasy or fixation could be unhealthy to the point where you believe that sex is only good if it's violent. You may think that only violent acts show love. If every time you were intimate in a relationship, it ended up in disaster, it may be hard for you to give yourself to that godly man, to that godly woman, because in the back of your mind, you're saying, they're going to leave me soon. No matter what I do, no matter how good I am, eventually they'll get sick of me and they'll hurt me just like everybody else. Maybe you have unrealistically high expectations that nobody can meet. It's possible that your standards are too high. That's real talk. I know we don't want to hear stuff like that. That's real talk. The truth is, I know you know what you want, but what you want today isn't going to be the same in a few years. I'll prove it to you. I found a survey. I'm going to give this to you real quick and I'm going to move on. I can't give it all to you. I'm going to give you some snippets. This was a survey taken what women want in a man by age. So 25-year-olds say, I want handsome and charming and successful and thoughtful and imaginative and romantic, in good shape, dresses with style. By the time you hit 35, you say, nice looking, hair preferred. Nice looking, hair preferred, has enough money for a nice dinner, laughs at my jokes, will listen sometimes, remembers anniversaries. By the time you get 45, I hope he ain't too ugly. He can be as bald as he needs to be. splurge at Denny's every now and then, at least nods his head when I'm talking. Strong enough to move a little bit of furniture in the house. And will he please wear a shirt that covers his stomach? Then you get to about 55 and you say, I just want his hair in his ears and nose trimmed. Doesn't scratch or belch in public. Please don't borrow no money from me. Won't nod off to sleep while I'm talking and appreciates a good TV dinner. By the time you get 65, if you ain't got nobody by then, you say, I just want somebody that don't scare small children and remembers where the bathroom is. Can you at least remember why you're laughing? And then by the time you get to 75, I just want somebody breathing. So I'm telling you right now, what are you talking about, Pastor? Your desires will change. So maybe your expectations are a little too high. Say amen to that.